Today's episode of the One Piece Podcast is sponsored by Patreon. Please check us out at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast for our entire 500 plus episode catalog that goes from 2009 through the present. That is Impel Down through today. Please check that out. Plus, we have exclusives, outtakes, videos, and a lot more, including what you could really call the newest episode of 20 Minutes of BS. That's all available at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. And with that, let's go on with the show. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 509 for the week of Monday, March 5th, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Hey, all four hosts for the first time in has it been like a year? It's been a very long time since all four of us.
A year.
Yeah.
Zach, you already jinxed it because I probably won't be on next week.
So you're blaming this on me?
Yes.
Before we get into that little reunion, we have very special guest translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump. Stephen Paul is with us. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, I am with you.
That's good. It's better than you being against us for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and after a pretty long reprieve himself, we have, you might know him on Twitter as Minovsky Article. Casey is with us. How's it going, Casey?
Hey everybody, the last time I was on this show, the Katakuri Luffy fight had just started.
Oh my god, that was years ago.
And so now I am here to finish the fight.
Good.
Wow.
There we go.
Yeah, you're our bookend of the Katakuri versus Luffy fight. So, on today's podcast, if you couldn't guess by that introduction, we have our manga recap of chapter 896, One Last Thing. We also have, hopefully, some anime recaps. We'll find out. If those aren't on today's episode, they'll be next week, since I think the anime is off again next week, Ed, is that correct?
There is a marathon.
What is the marathon of? Oh, wait, it's an actual marathon.
It's a running marathon.
It's a running marathon. Okay, good to know.
Next episode airs on the 18th.
I forget that this is the time of year when there's all the marathons being broadcasted Sunday mornings in Japan.
And also because it's Japan, the women's marathon is one weekend and the men's marathon is the other weekend.
Oh god, it's extremely sexist. I guess
I don't know. I feel like it's just taking time away from anime. They could be much more efficient.
They could. Although
I
think
like that you thought it was going to be a marathon of a TV show.
That's
though.
what I thought.
Pretty funny.
It's like they're doing a One Piece marathon just to catch everyone up. No, but the
Yearly Shonen Run.
I like it. I know. I was just thinking that it's good that the One Piece anime gets a break because they're kind of getting on the heels, I think, of the material. It's less than
they
a year.
are.
Yeah.
Hot on the heels, you'd say.
Yeah, sure. I don't think I would say that, but sure. So before we get into the show, of course, we also have Piece Together and Trivia at the end, so stick around for that. There's some new One Piece releases. Steven, do you want to kind of go through what has come out this week?
Yeah, so we just had, One Piece release day, I guess you would call it, because we just had the Volume 88 Japanese release. That is out. I don't think we even talked about the cover, although we could probably save that for when we go through it.
I mean, I liked it. Everyone else liked it?
Yeah, it's a good one. And as well as the 8th Color Walk, which is titled Wolf. And in addition to that, there is a third book, which is a One Piece picture book. And I don't know if you remember from when we went over the One Piece magazine issues last year. I think we spent a little time talking about the I guess it looked like construction paper style, like if you had very finely ripped up a bunch of different colored construction paper to make a kind of children's book version of the story of Luffy and Ace and Sabo growing up. And it was a really cool segment in those magazines. And I believe that this is just, those collected into a book. I'm not sure if it's expanded in any way or if it's just like, oh, let's put this into a nice, completed format. Because they have put out other stuff. They put out the there were two different novels that were serialized, little short story bits that were serialized in those magazines, and one of them was just random Straw Hat stories, and another one was the Ace novel. And I believe they put out the Straw Hat stories, and maybe the Ace one is coming out next or something.
I think I saw floating around the internet, so who knows how legitimate it is, but I saw the Ace novel cover floating around.
So they've been kind of, reusing and kind of putting all of the stuff from those one-time magazines into more permanent publication. And this picture book is the one that it just came out now. So three different things. I'm not sure if we're going to go over both of the volume and the color walk. I think we did that once.
I think 2 separate episodes for that probably would keep your
sanity
in check. And my sanity. I think both of our sanity. Alex, you have the color walk if you want to give us your super quick review of it.
It's great. It's got some of my favorite color spreads in it, actually. It covers basically all of Dressrosa. So those couple of years.
It's more than a couple, if I recall.
Well, yeah, you can tell because normally when you look on the inside cover of the color walks, there's a map showing where in the One Piece world we are in the color walk timeline, and it's got Dressrosa and a gigantic map of Zou.
Nice.
This is cool. So it's just basically a big ass elephant on the inside cover. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, I'm excited to get that. The color walks, I think we've mentioned this before. First off, they're coming out, the compendium editions are coming out in English. Is that in May, Stephen?
Summertime, I believe.
June or July.
June or July? So if you haven't, please pick those up. But also, I think the Japanese, if you're going to get a Japanese book, I think the color walks are always the best bet because there's very little text in them and you get a big version of all the color spreads.
Yeah.
Also, they're not overpriced like some other Japanese art books.
It's like $20, right? Or something like
that.
Yeah.
They are not that pricey. And these are the Japanese versions, too. So if you could legally obtain them.
Yeah, and if you buy them from a place like, if you have a Kino near your area, you can probably get them for less than $20.
This is
go
ahead.
Amazon.jp. Really easy to get an English account.
This is a great transition into something else I want to say. There's a lot of sales going on right now for whatever reason. You could get, those big, giant One Piece manga box sets from Viz. Those are $250 each, but it's 23 volumes per set.
They're all written by Tite Kubo.
Wow.
They're all written by Eiichiro Oda, so you could pick those up. Those are all on Amazon. I think there was also...
There was a sale on them recently where they were on sale for like $100.
Wow, that's
nice.
pretty good.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
That's insane. The omnibuses, omnibuses 23 through 26 are also coming out, and the compendium, as we also talked about, and everything through volume 88 is now available, I think, all through Amazon. So check that out. It's July 3rd, by the way, is when the compendium is coming out for those who were curious. And yeah, I think that'll do for releases. Besides,
actually, Alex, I have one question for you. Since this is something you were talking about, like around the time before you took your break from the show, was you were rereading through Dressrosa. Did you ever finish that?
No. I tried really, really hard. The last time I think I was the last time I picked it up, it was after after Zoro's fight with Pika, I think. And I think Luffy was fighting Bellamy, and then I just kind of stopped reading it.
That's a tough part. Actually, I
made it really far.
That's actually exactly where we are in Whole Cake Island. It's 70 chapters in. I remember having looked at that last week or the week before.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I'll get around to finishing it. I think I had a whole bunch of other stuff come up and pique my interest more. Which isn't hard.
No. I can't cast stones. I haven't reread it either, so
it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
It is.
I'm sorry, but it really is.
Before we get into the show, one more thing. Please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. There's some really good stuff we just put on there, including we put the last week's episode up a little early, so hopefully we could do that more in the future when we pre-record episodes, which we don't often do, but we sometimes do. We also have 2 Patreon episodes titled Shalom Miami and Tom Carvel Presents the Laboon the Whale Cake. So please check those out. Also,
even our Patreon episodes have great titles.
They do, and the One Pizza podcast, which is all about Steve and Alex ragging on cheese pizza. That is
and the New York pizza.
It's 35 minutes long.
Hey, I'm walking here,
and it's all just.
I'm walking here, and I can verify. I was in New York City again recently, hung out with Zach, and yes, everyone walks around with a slice of New York pizza.
Hey, Steve and Zach, good to see you. There's an extra large pie on the house.
God forbid when I'm walking with my pizza.
Okay, let's go into the podcast.
How about another pizza? They only have one. They should have 2. Give them an extra large pie with lots of spaghetti.
Somewhere a listener in New York is checking to make sure their headphones are still working.
Free pizza, things that never happen in New York City.
This is the manga recap for chapter 896, One Last Thing. Ed, what's going on the front page here?
It's the saga of the self-proclaimed Straw Hat Fleet, Volume 28, Hyruden, Buggy's Delivery Escapee List, Captain Hyruden of the New Giant Pirates. Yeah, escapee, that's an interesting way of putting that.
So I'm sorry, one last thing. Buggy, you said that Captain Hyruden, he's a giant friend of yours? He escaped?
Oh, Columbo, what are you doing here? I thought you died.
My wife, she just loves reading this One Piece. I'm just trying to catch up.
Wow.
Why didn't we give Orlando that voice?
This is so over my head.
Orlumbo.
So, Hyruden's big enough to take up the whole cover page here.
So nothing really happens.
So nothing happened. Yeah.
So I'm guessing.
Yeah, the escapee thing is interesting.
Yeah, I'm guessing, judging by the title, that the entirety of this mini arc is just going to be the profiles of all the new giant pirates.
No, next week it's going to be his feet.
He's a giant and he got feet?
Steven, any thoughts on this?
Nope.
Yeah, he's big.
Okay, Ed, go for it. Let's start this chapter.
All right. 12:28 a.m. 32 minutes until Cacao Island meeting. The possibility that Katakuri will lose? Are you seriously asking that? And I think someone's getting hit over the head. Yeah, he gets hit over the head with the back of a scythe, and he yelps. That'll never be anything higher than 0%. That's right, you clown! Brother Katakuri is the perfect man.
This is, of course, the episode Steve and Alex are
Clown!
Do you want to describe a little bit about the characters who are here?
Oh, man.
I mean, sure. we have names for them, but who remembers?
They're the dectuplets.
No, Ed, please, tell us all their names.
Oh, yeah, Ed.
Who are the girls with the tights?
Nope.
You were so much less fun than Jammer.
I know what they are. They're all dectuplets. All the girls with the tights and all the boys wearing the bowler hats. They're all dectuplets.
And Bart's boys.
They're all Lieutenant Smash and the what was it called?
Even Oda doesn't remember all their names. He did etc. in the chapter where they were introduced.
And the rest.
And the rest.
Snack. That's Snack right there, right? With the armor and the hat.
No, I don't think.
No, that's the Dragon Quest guy.
Yeah, that's
Mune? Is that his name? Yue?
Yeah, Snack isn't by the mirror. He's on his own ship, I believe.
Okay, so the guy with the long white hair.
Oh, that's Raisin.
Okay,
right.
So that's if he was Straw Hat, this is what he would do. His arrangement is to meet with his crew at Cacao Island at 1:00. In other words, the ship won't arrive until 1. So I'd go after Sister Brûlée, the key to unlocking the mirror world, and then I'd either hide there or on another island until enough time had passed.
That's a very
Yeah,
it's a very convenient explanation for some hypothetical third party who was watching all of this stuff that is happening right now, perhaps in the pages of Shonen Jump.
Yeah, What's raising the Minister of Exposition?
It doesn't really rhyme, but sure, I'll take it.
Raisin, the Minister of Exposition.
Doesn't really
Right.
No, well, Raisin, I don't necessarily know if he's doing some exposition. He's doing more splaining.
Splainin. The Minister of Splainin.
For no particular reason.
Lucy.
I'm sick of this
Wow.
mansplaining.
Man,
Yoon continues. That's a good point. Nobody knows where Sister Brule is now. He seems weirdly excited about that. He's
That's his
exclamation
default.
points.
That's his resting glee face.
Yeah. But then Oven comes in. Exactly. So it's quite possible that Straw Hat Luffy will run from his fight against Katakuri and still pop out of this mirror at 1 o'clock. I see. That makes sense. And Sister Brulee's a real klutz, so I can easily see her getting captured. And off into the alley there, someone says, is thinking, they bring all their muscle here? And it's Sanji.
It's a nun. He's just a nun. He's back in the habit.
If Luffy doesn't bolt for safety the instant he appears, we'll never get out of here alive.
Steven.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool drawing.
it is. I like the pocket watch. Of course, Sanji
yes.
has a pocket watch. Anyway, please.
It costs $5,000.
Just like his lighter.
Yep. So he turns, and we see that he's not the only person in this alley, because so is Pudding and Nitro. And he says, okay, well, when Luffy shows up, this is going to be it for you and me. And she is just kind of staring at him in rapture, apparently at quite a distance, because he's sitting on the steps and there's like an empty space there. And she's just like 10 feet away. It's like, can you even hear me? And we get a little mini flashback of the twists and turns of their relationship, starting with the first shot of her headshot there. This is your future bride, Pudding, to the fateful decision to get married, with the storm roaring outside. And he's reminiscing on this as the scene is going on and out in the square. He's like, gosh, boy, yeah, sure has been a long year. He's writing in her yearbook here. Gosh, it sure has been a crazy year, hasn't it? And
It's been like a week,
he's like,
right?
Yeah.
Don't forget about me when you go to Totoland University.
Have a good shot.
She has to pass her exam first.
But it's ending soon. Our parting is at hand. Thanks for everything. And he just holds out his hand like, put her there, pal. And she's like, huh? And then Pudding, her mind is racing here, and on the inside she's thinking, but no, you can't thank me, Sanji dear. You know, I tricked you. I tried to kill you. You know, you can't do this to me. I have to apologize. I had to apologize. I need to apologize. And instead, what comes out of her mouth is, shut up. Shut up. It's great. You can tell it's played for laughs because of the way he drew the little sound effect there. Bam. And then on the next page, you see that she's immediately like scolding herself, like, "Oh God, why did I do that?"
Stupid.
Yeah, Sanji is sort of laughing to himself, like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're enemies." But you know, even if this was all a sham, you know, this is a big trap that the Big Mom Pirates set. You know, I'm glad that if somebody had to play the role of my fiance, that it was you. And you know, he just gives her this real nice smile. And this is too much for poor Pudding, who is reduced to, you know, she's doing the Oda cry here. We have you know, three tear streaks along with the double barrel nose running. And yeah, she's
like
clear.
She almost looks like she's drooling too. So
I think she is.
I think she's having a stroke.
Yeah, she's obviously very conflicted about all this for a number of different reasons. And Sanji is kind of misinterpreting this, that she's crying because he made fun of her or something. And so he's trying to console her, and she's trying to stop herself from crying. And so she's rubbing her eyes. She tells him, you know, hey, Sanji, dear, I have a request. Just one last thing before you go. and we get this really cool. I actually like this. This might be my favorite panel in this chapter. The look of determination, where she's, the tears are abating a little bit, but she's got this, she's steeling herself to do something, and she reaches out and grabs his cigarette. But then the scene appears to transition away, so we don't know what it is that she did.
How convenient.
I love that panel. I love that where they see her hand, and even in that tiny panel, you can see a couple of her fingers reaching, and then the bottom panel below that, you can see where her grabbing the cigarette. And it's either going to be like, "Kiss me" or "Quit smoking, loser."
How about that kiss, Explodey?
Oh no, Putin. Should we talk about this now, or do you?
No, let's save it because it kind of comes. I mean, Sanji comes back at the end, so we could talk a little bit about
good.
it.
I think it's...
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm glad this wasn't the moment where she pulled a gun out.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. Alex, what's next?
12:37 a.m. Tick tock, tick tock. So says the clock in the mirror. Well, we're back in the mirror world, and last we left Luffy and Katakuri, they had both geared up some big ass attacks. Katakuri, if I remember correctly, had a buzz cut mochi going on, and Luffy had his King Cobra, Jet King Cobra. Is that it? Gum Gum King Cobra. And Dodom, we see a completely broken battlefield, and Katakuri's gigantic fluid-filled arm. Man, he's got to get that lanced. And it's a standstill, it looks like. Katakuri's face and Luffy's face have a look of determination on them, and we see the attacks that have once connected are removing themselves from each opponent's body with a zumph. And that's it.
You'll have more to say, Alex. So we go to the next page where both of their attacks snap back simultaneously. Remember, they do have relatively similar devil fruits going on here. And meanwhile, the floor seems to be buckling from underneath Luffy's feet, and then eventually collapse, and he falls down into a hole as Katakuri looks on, seemingly exhausted. But the person who seems more exhausted at this moment is Luffy, who falls, and I don't know what's under the mirror world, but he's in the mirror world's basement. I don't know what
it's the bottomless pit that Ozzie Smith falls into.
The mystery spot.
It's the mystery spot.
Ooh. But actually, this isn't bottomless because Luffy actually hits something.
That's true. And he seems to have lost his Snake Man and his fourth gear and his consciousness as his pupils disappear. And Katakuri also seems to be losing his consciousness and then thumps to the ground and also passes into that long goodbye. And by that, I mean a temporary sleep.
Alzheimer's?
Jesus.
That was
The
bizarre.
long goodbye.
Oh my god.
Okay. And we see Luffy also passed out, emanating smoke from his from his mouth, and
Steam. It's steam.
Steam. You're correct.
The world will be saved by steam.
Luffy we're having.
It was only a matter of time.
Zach, this is what you get.
Okay. It is 12:40, and what happens on the next page, Casey?
Whole Cake Island, 12:40 a.m. And we get a
Big Apple. 3 a.m.
3 a.m. We get the excited shout of a familiar bird.
Ooh.
I can't believe they survived this long. If they should actually escape this all-out blockade, well, I hardly need to say it. This would be big news.
I marked out so hard for that.
Yay!
So good.
Is it brought to you by the letter B and the letter N?
I'm happy that Casey's on for this episode, especially. It's been a
I
long
think,
time.
Has Morgan's been gone the whole time I've been gone?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well,
Pretty
he
much.
showed up once recently.
Okay.
A few chapters
But
ago.
you didn't say very much. Amigo. Remember that was the thing you said once?
I've never had to do a Mont Dore voice before, so I'm just going to make him sound like a huge dork.
Yeah, that's the key to a good Mont Dore. It's just
All
making
right.
it sound
Sweet.
Mont Dork.
So Mont Dork is taking a lot of umbrage to this being big news. Shut your beak, Morgans! Forget about your scopes for a second. We swallowed up Pride and summoned our best forces to Cacao Island to prevent such a freak occurrence. I don't care if the Pirate King Gold Roger himself appears from the mirror. He's not going to escape us. Once we finally catch the entire crew, we will slit their throats and punch them up for tomorrow's front page. We'll make an example of them.
Montour is having a bit of a panic attack here.
Gotta take it easy on the caffeine.
Look at Morgan's face. He's so done with this guy.
Wally Gator on speed.
Every time I see Big News Morgans, I love him more, and that expression is amazing. I can't
insult Big News Morgans, but you can't insult the Scoops.
Ed, is he in? You can't insult the Scoops. Wait, is he in the anime yet, Ed?
No, it shows up at the wedding.
Yeah, but aren't we like an episode away from that at this?
We were at the
right.
planning meeting this week.
Oh, okay, I need to catch that.
Yeah, we're like 5 episodes away probably from Morgan's. If I were to
Really?
guess.
Okay.
Another interesting fact about Big News Morgan's: his favorite cereal is Raisin Bran. 2 scoops.
I get it.
Oh, I get it. Okay. A lot of raisin jokes this week.
Hey, does he like Baskin Robbins also because it's 31 it's flavors. Damn it.
Yeah, but that's just like scoops. You know, he's guaranteed 32 scoops.
Ooh, no, wait, I got one. Isn't there a cat litter called Fresh Scoop or something?
Oh my god.
Fresh Step.
Morgan's on the box.
Damn it, it's Fresh Step. Ah, fuck me.
You do scoop cat litter though.
That's true.
And you do scoop ice cream, so yeah, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Big
How about this,
Morgan
guys?
is the sponsor for Pooper Scoopers.
Yeah, how about this, guys? Big News Morgan's also likes poop and ice cream because he can scoop.
Casey.
Nailed it.
So here's Stussy. Remember Stussy? How ghastly. There's no need to be so extreme. And then at Montdor, are you kidding? That's me being nice. And then now we are at 12:43 a.m. We are back at the ship as Prometheus descends upon Termina Clocktown.
This is the what's the Costa Nostra, the ship? What's
Nostro
it called again?
Castello.
Not Nostra Castello.
Yeah.
Oh no, Prometheus.
We can't make it, Godfather. They'll get us before we reach the island. Let's dump the cake and get away. It's too late to panic, boys. We may have been born in different places from different mothers, but we're gonna die together. Godfather. Capone and his men are valiantly trying to escape the giant laughing sun.
Casey has the page with literally every character in it.
You're sure doing your work today, Mr. Prometheus.
Prometheus. I mean, shit.
Yeah, and then we catch him with Straw Hats. They're just kind of making fun of Luffy.
They're not sweating.
No. Yeah, Nami, I think we'll make it by 1 o'clock. The only thing I'm worried about is Brûlée, because she's the key to Marrow World. Even if he wins the fight, he can't get out of the mirror without Brûlée. And here's Jinbei. Luffy doesn't seem like the type of fellow who can calculate such tactics. Exactly, he can't, Chopper. It's beyond his ability. Oh no. And Brook, I'm not even sure he understands what time is. Oh, what time it is.
What time it is.
Oh, what
Sorry,
time
one's
it
a deeper diss.
Yeah.
They're pretty close, but yeah.
And then Carrot, that too.
This was the moment that Jinbei realized that he and Luffy are not a good match. Jinbei's all about the planning and naming the plan. And,
I've made a huge mistake.
Oh yeah, that was completely apparent in the anime this week because that was like the first time. Like otherwise, Luffy would just rush in. And Jinbei's like, "No, I have a plan." And he listened this time.
Alex.
So it's 12:47 a.m. back in Mirror World.
I guess that defines a long goodbye as 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I always claimed it would be.
And we see a hand reach out of the bottom full pit. And with a moyoing, Luffy rubber bands himself out of the hole and lands on his back, very near the unconscious Katakuri. And as he drags himself towards Katakuri, a familiar voice rings in his memory. Listen to me, Luffy. At 1 o'clock in the morning, once you've beaten him, find a mirror that leads to Cacao Island. We'll meet up there. So he's he's basically telling the audience that remember 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when all this is supposed to go down. We've heard it 3 times already this chapter. Why not one more? So he drags himself up and he says, "Ugh, what time is it right now?" And before he can do anything, he looks up, and there stands Katakuri, the tallest man in the world.
he's 16 foot 8 inches.
Yeah, that's too tall.
So nice to see they built the giant Katakuri in Odaiba.
Yeah, I really, I really feel sorry for Katakuri. He can't ride any roller coaster.
He's made of mochi. What's it gonna do to him?
That's a good point.
All people should be able to ride roller coasters. The very tall.
This is the largest auto I could afford. Should I therefore be made the subject of fun?
It's not so bad. He probably doesn't even have to worry about getting a decent seat on an airplane because he could just like eat his legs and just.
Yeah, too bad Kevin Smith isn't made out of mochi.
That is really poorly timed.
Why? He's fine.
All on Alex.
Last week?
The views of Alex do not represent the views of this podcast.
Remember back in the day when he was too fat to fly?
Yes, I remember the story, Alex. You're just digging yourself into a bottom full pit. That's all you're doing.
A long goodbye.
A 10-minute long goodbye.
That's an episode title.
All right. But Katakuri, he has something to say to Luffy, who's getting up himself at this point. He says, breathing in. Yeah. Will you be back someday to topple Big Mom? Luffy responds, of course I will. I'm the man who'll be king of the pirates. You're looking quite far into the future. And he falls over. That's really awesome.
Okay.
Very metal.
You got to have this awesome.
Timber.
Katakuri Damashi.
Damn, he's big. He's a big boy.
Yeah, so he's out. Luffy is shocked, and we can see that Luffy comes up to about his knee height-wise. And his mouth is just hanging open, and we see Luffy go over to him from the distance and hear something flap. And Luffy walking away. That's an interesting sound effect. But Luffy walking away, and he's put his hat that he got from Capone over Katakuri's face.
That was awesome.
Hide his secret shame.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out too that when Katakuri gives his last line, that you're looking quite far into the future. You can only see it on the sound effect, but he has a little, which is kind of hard to make out in his expression itself. But that he recognizes like this kind of, I don't know if it's irony or like sort of mocking or what, but it's a cool kind of subtle thing there.
It's like he's acknowledging that, like, maybe I actually am looking into the future. I can see that far, but
yeah,
possibly. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to interpret it. That's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah. It's just like Katakuri the man. It is mysterious and vague. Steve.
But I just want to say that this was, I would have been happy if this chapter ended here, but something happens on the next page that made me like, swing my hands around like I was going to miss the chili cook-off or something.
Okay, Steve.
Speaking of mysterious, vague.
Yeah.
And we hear some shouting off in the distance. No, brother.
Brother.
Actually, it's Brother Katakuri. And Luffy says, oh, it's Branch.
Branch.
And Brule says, it's Brule. What in the world did you do to my brother, Straw Hat? But we pan out because she isn't just floating upside down and with the big old doom.
Who is this?
Looks like you knocked out Katakuri. I don't believe it. Grrr. Hey, it's me. MYSTOMS. Mistums. That doesn't rhyme with anything.
I wish that's how he
Ray Mistum's Irio Jr.
Who's that jumping out the mirror?
Where my STOM?
Booyaka, booyaka. I caught Brule, and I waited until I could help you get out of here. It's our mystery saver.
Savior.
Sorry, mystery savior. Man of mystery. The luchador. Mistums. Louis says, "Oh, Peckham's. Oh, it's good. You're all right." He's like, "Ah."
When Luffy could see through your disguise, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Just remember remember the disguises he can't see through.
No, it's the boots and the culottes are the giveaway.
Yeah, no one's wearing those. Luffy still doesn't know who Sogeking is. But Mistom says, "Yeah, Pedro died to save your lives, and I'll be damned if I let that go to waste."
Mystery Savior Theater 3000.
Great to see Peckham's back. No, I'm sorry, Mistum's is a new character. God, Oda keeps introducing new characters so into the story.
The little gold flecks in Mistum's mask beneath his ears look a little bit like the way the lion's mane is drawn in the New Japan logo, because they're cubed.
Oh, sweet.
I can see that. Yeah,
that's baller.
He's the savior of strong style, Mistum's. So 12:50 a.m. The Sunny is now approaching Cacao Island, and a little time passes, and we go to they give a call to Sanji on Cacao Island. We get classic espionage Sanji saying Luffy's not out yet. Stay away from the fleet at the shore. Don't worry, I'll bring Luffy to the ship. We get a little more time passing as we see the fleet at the shore. And there's a lot of them there. And 12:55 a.m. And we pan out. We see everyone with guns loaded and pointed at the mirror as Oven says, or asks, like, "Are everyone's weapons at the ready? If he comes out of that mirror, it'll be in the next 5 minutes."
Captain Obvious here.
At precisely 1 o'clock in the morning. Everything, nobody is ever late. It's always on time.
Don't factor in milliseconds. Just round it up to the nearest minutes. Show yourself. Straw Hat, Luffy.
Can I just say how much I love that fucking panel of all the be-weaponed Charlotte members?
There's a lot of really great panels. In this
it's undermined slightly because it's Oven, and along with Montour, he's like the second most ineffectual of the Charlotte brothers.
I love Oven.
Shit, Oven's great. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Alex, Ed.
I haven't been here in a year, but let me tell you something about Alex and One Piece in the last year. Oven is my BFF, so if you want to, pick a fight, you're gonna have to go through me, bucko.
Yeah, I also like Montdork. He's fantastic and dorky.
That panel with the mirror is like the end of the climax of Blues Brothers when they turn around at the tax office and all the troopers are there with their guns.
Oh my god!
One thing about that scene, you know who plays the clerk in the office? Frank Oz.
Yeah, and he also plays the clerk in the office in
Blues Brothers 2000.
No,
actually, Trading Places. It's the same universe.
Oh yeah. Anyway, let's move out from that and talk about this week's chapter. There's a lot to unpack here. There's two people we haven't had on too much recently, but let's start with Casey since it's been a while. What are your thoughts on this chapter? And I guess everything you've missed recently.
I'm not really sure. I've been sitting here. I was actually hoping I wouldn't be called first. So, my feelings of the chapter are that, well, I gotta say, depending on what happens in the next few chapters, I'm kind of disappointed by the suggestion that the Big Mom plotline is going to drag on. Or at least not going to be, that thread is not going to be ended with this arc. I think that just kind of flies in the face of a lot of things I feel One Piece is, one of which is just perpetual motion on to the next adventure and not having to look back. And I know that's something that a lot of listeners have written in about for months and months and months about how they don't feel like Luffy is ready to take down an emperor. But, again, I could be totally wrong. In the next few chapters, that could be resolved in some other way. We don't really know what Katakuri saw. As for the chapter itself, I thought it was pretty effective. I mean, if this is the angle we're gonna go with Pudding, and I've voiced my displeasure with it enough times that I'm not gonna do it this time. If this is the angle we're gonna do, I actually really like the page with her removing Sanji's cigarette, and I'm very curious to see where that's gonna go. I think this generally had pretty good art. I'm not really sure how I feel yet about how the Katakuri Luffy fight ended, and I'll kind of leave that to others to discuss. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good chapter.
We'll circle back to you, Casey, and see if your thoughts have cemented more. Speaking of the cigarette, I just want to throw out there that Sanji is smoking something in that last panel he's in. So I guess it didn't take.
You can tell. Hey, Zach, I'm not a smoker either, but people tend to carry more than one cigarette.
No.
Well, I would point out that the cigarette in his mouth at the end is not lit, so he might just have an oral fixation.
That's very likely, actually.
Yeah, like Hank Venture.
Alex.
Yeah, I thought this was a dynamite chapter. Where to start? I love all the Charlotte members of the family, or the members of the Charlotte family. They're really great.
Wow, love.
I do. I love them. Yeah, this is actually because they're all the designs are super wacky, and I'm a sucker for that kind of thing.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I don't want to continuously rag on Dressrosa because I feel like, especially with you and I, with our last few appearances on the show, I feel like we've done that. But I'm just curious, what makes the Charlotte family, why they cater to you more than the Don Quixote family?
Because they're not Baroque Works ripoffs.
How so?
What?
Like what? I explain your reasoning.
Yeah.
How did you arrive at that conclusion?
Oh, well, I mean, the reason I dislike most of the Don Quixote family is because they're basically just okay, this is basically Baroque Works powers dialed up to 11.
It's Mock Vice and was it Valentine? Miss Valentine?
Yeah. I didn't.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, the bomb fruit. I didn't find them particularly. I didn't find them particularly. I don't know. I didn't think their designs were as. I'm not going to say inspired because it's very possible that Oda pulled a lot of these designs out of his ass. But I don't know. These designs just do it for me.
I especially like the one that's Hitoshi Matsumoto from Downtown.
It probably helps that each Charlotte sibling, I think, individually, I should say, carries less of the story load than the average Doflamingo family member. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of goofballs that impart information here and there.
I think it's more that characters like Germa and Capone and the Fishman, they take a lot of plot that otherwise would fall onto minor villains, I think.
Yeah, they offset it a lot, and that way you can just sort of drink in the wacky character designs of 40 to 50 siblings.
It's also that they're generally drawn as pretty. We know that the majority of them are really ineffective. They're just all the fail sons of Big Mom. So there's no expectation, and when you have low expectations for characters, they can't disappoint you.
There you go. Yeah. And I also really love Oven's design. I think it's fucking bonkers good.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's like Bonkers the Bobcat. As for putting in Sanji, I think this is interesting. I think that she gave him a big old smoocherino. She might have messed with his mind a little bit to I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss there, but if she did kiss him, then he's not I don't know if Sanji's changed in a way because he's not his nose isn't bleeding in the last panel or anything like that. So I don't know when it comes to that bit.
Yeah, go on.
No, you go.
Now, I was just going to say, I mean, since we're discussing this point, I heard a lot of fan speculation. I don't know if it's in the Piece Together thread, but I saw it around. That maybe it's something with her ability and something related to that.
It's possible. Mm-hmm. She could have erased a certain portion of memories of her from him. But either way, back to I think the real meat of this fight or this chapter is the Katakuri fight or the ending thereof. I was very pleased with this. They both TKO'd each other for the most part. So they both like won, right? Like they both won the fight. That's how I'm seeing it. Like they're like kind Luffy won.
Yeah.
Like they both won, but Luffy won the most, I guess.
I think Katakuri is also partially of the realization of like the things he says. Like I don't know how much he likes being part of this family. Of like, it's almost like promise me you're gonna come take down Big Mom. You know, like it's asking him to do it.
That's a way to interpret it. I think.
I've been feeling that about Katakuri for the last month or so. That he's just sort of done with this family. Like he's finished with taking care of them.
So I looked at it as a sort of like, rather than saying, hey, are you going to come back someday to topple Big Mom? It's more like, hey, do you want to come back and fight some more? Because this is like, I think we'd mentioned this on one of the episodes that I was on last year, where Katakuri's powers are pretty much the closest Luffy has ever fought. Like they're a match for each other. Like they're more or less the same kind of powers. And this is like the most 1-to-1 that Luffy has ever fought somebody, I think. So it's more of a like, this was fun, let's do this again type deal.
You just described a pretty good date.
Yeah. Well, no, they're a little. It's like a little bromance or yeah.
Luffy texts Katakuri a week later. Hey, I had a really fun time last week. Let's get together again sometime.
Well, like if you notice that like Luffy didn't clobber the shit out of him like you normally see in other fights, right? Like
it's one hit.
Yeah, it's usually like one hit and it fucks up their face. And in this case, he like gives Katakuri his dignity. He doesn't like shatter his opponent's. Yeah, he doesn't shatter his opponent's dreams like he normally does. You know. Because that's what the fights are usually about. This was like a sporting match between rivals or something. I don't know.
Well, it turned into that, I think, after the flambe incident. I'll call it. Yeah.
And it could have, and I think we could have arrived here in a shorter amount of time, but I'm very okay with this ending. I think it's great.
Okay. Any other thoughts, Alex?
No.
Steven.
I like this chapter a lot. I guess I would say that while I think the conclusion of that fight was not, it wasn't a visceral one. I mean, it was more like it was almost like Oda was kind of like hiding it behind a veil for the privacy of the combatants, like to salvage their honor or something, or their pride or something like that, because we got the whole like wind up like, oh, they're gonna really give it to each other, it's gonna be the final attack, and then you kind of just see the aftermath of it here. So it's not a scene that I'm going to look back on and be like, oh yeah, man, that was a highlight of the big the Whole Cake Island arc when Luffy finally beat Katakuri. I feel like I'm not really going to think much about this fight in the future, at least about the scenes and the way that they played out. But I thought it was a very fitting end for the fight, because like we said, it's not a personal fight. Like you're not supposed to feel like, oh, I just want to see Katakuri like get what's coming to him finally. This asshole. It's a much more kind of stoic fight between enemies who can kind of respect each other, and like you were saying, there's it felt like it was very kind of respectful to them, of Luffy putting the hat on Katakuri's face, which was on Katakuri's mouth, I should say, which was really cool, and the kind of exchange that happens between them, and I think you could view it in two separate ways, because there's still obviously a good chance that there could be a rematch with Big Mom, possibly something Elbaf related, like if that's where she ends up chasing them, if she's still after blood when this arc is all said and done, and then you find have the Luffy finally beating her or whatever. that you could support that reading through the way that they talk here. You're looking real far into the future if you think you're going to be the king of the pirates. Or you could just sort of see it as like, okay, well, we'll leave it at there for now, which is kind of what you would do between, two characters who are, friendly enough. Like they're not, it's not like Luffy's going to spit on him or anything at the end of this fight. They're parting as kind of rivals. And that's the kind of thing that you would have a rival say, even if you weren't intending to actually have a rematch. It would just, you have that, you leave them with that kind of statement. So I don't know. I mean, you could read a lot of different things into it, and I like that about it. Really don't know what to think of the putting in Sanji note, although I feel like the her using her memory powers to like erase her own the memories of her from his mind would be an interesting interpretation. I'd like to I hope that it's something kind of interesting like that. I think that would be a curious development.
And I'm just thinking that we haven't seen her use her powers in forever in the story.
It's so due. Yeah. And then I love the Peckham, the Mistums thing was just hilarious. The stupid mask, like the Lucha Libre mask, is so good. And that
it continues a tradition. Sorry, not to cut you off, Steven.
No.
Because I know we've had Chopper Mask, and I guess Soge King is a part of this as well.
Maybe animals just like to wear masks.
I'm trying to. Well, yeah, Usopp is quite an animal.
But it's such a bad disguise that he can't even fool Luffy. Like that's the best part.
It's One Piece. Characters have really strong silhouettes, so
that is true.
I'll be honest. When I turned the page, I at first glance I thought it was a new character who was like Peckham's brother.
I thought that too.
We need to go back and do some Peckham's math and try and figure out the last place we saw him.
Yeah, I was gonna say the most mysterious part about this mystery savior is how the hell he got there.
Don't headcanon Scott Steiner.
It's a mystery.
It's
true. It's a mystery. That's a running gag that hasn't come back in a while. Steve.
Man, this was a whopper of a freaking chapter, I gotta say. Well, first of all, it's done. Luffy versus Katakuri. It's finally over. I almost thought this was going to be a draw, but it's of course one of those who it's like it's the Rocky of who, they're both down, who gets back up first. Rocky 2, correction. But I really like the page when Katakuri falls. Oda did a really good job framing this. Like it, I think the angles he chose really works because the moment where he kind of coughs out and he first starts to fall, it's more of a bird's eye view. We get like the really heavy black shadow beneath him.
That panel next to that is amazing.
Which one?
The one right next to that where he's in motion and you can see Luffy's face.
I'd find that one a little harder to read.
I didn't get it until the second or third time through, but like when I saw him, like, oh man, he's falling pretty fast there.
I really like the big panel of him hitting the ground because it really shows the scale. Because I think we flipped out on Twitter like maybe about a month ago when it was revealed just how tall Katakuri was. I don't think we necessarily got the hint of that because usually these guys were stretching their arms and punching each other from a distance. I was giving out this kind of relates. I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho with a friend, weeks ago. The Saint Beast arc, the second to last boss is Seryu, and apparently he's supposed to be a really tall Chinese-looking demon guy, but you never get the sense that he's tall because he's usually just standing across the room, and I forget how it is in the manga, but they didn't shoot it or they didn't frame it correctly. He's also fighting like the shortest member of like the main cast of that show, but I never got the sense that he was a really tall guy. But then there's shots like this that are really great because now you totally get the sense that Katakuri is a freaking giant compared to Luffy. And also on this page, Luffy covering his mouth, I thought was what really got me this week. I thought that was it's such a great Luffy thing to do, and Luffy continues to be probably, I don't know. I don't read a lot of fiction. but I'm just gonna say something stupid and say Luffy's like one of the greatest characters of fiction because he just keeps outdoing himself. Or at the same time, he is very consistent. I just thought this was a really cool notion by Luffy to do this. This was a very Zoro shonen fight, but I liked it. I liked seeing Luffy, just be himself in this. And of course, Mistomes, I love that gimmick. It's great. I think he's obviously doing it just so the Big Mom, the Charlotte family doesn't question his loyalties. I'm sorry, I don't know if anyone mentioned the storytelling device of using the clocks. That was something really cool that Oda did here. Just all these different clocks, and it's cool when you see like the Fire Tank Pirates clock. It's really fancy, almost like a grandfather clock looking. And then you see the Straw Hats. Clock. Yeah, Godfather clock. And then you see like the Straw Hats sports pub clock. It's really great. And then of course the pudding and the Sanji scene was another big takeaway from this chapter. Steven already really touched into that. Basically what I could say is if you think it's just a kiss, that's easy mode. That's fine. You can enjoy One Piece on easy mode. I know it's a long series.
Wow.
Much.
Did I just get dunked on?
Yeah, that's the new word now. I think it's more than that. And like we said, it's been a while since we've seen Pudding tap into her ability. And I really hope it has something to do with that. Either it's...
Or get him to quit smoking. I mean, that also would be...
It's like, this is gross.
Like I said on Twitter, she pops a lollipop in his mouth. Use this instead.
That I'd be very happy with.
If only 4 kids endured hundreds and hundreds more episodes, they'd be like, one less edit.
And
but in
the 4 kids one, it would be instead of the lollipop, you give him a cigarette. She'd give him a cigarette.
No, in 4 kids one, it'd be like, ew, cherry. Try blue raspberry.
Hey, I prefer blue raspberry.
No, it was just one last. I think it's either kind of removing memories of her from his mind, or maybe she just can't live with these emotions and these memories, so maybe she gives them to him. I don't know how that works.
Or maybe she erased something sad from his own life or something. Who knows?
Yeah, but you need the sad parts to become better.
Yeah.
I just think with her, she's like, I won't be able to live without you. I want to get rid of these memories of you, but I want you to keep them. I don't know.
That's interesting. I like
that.
And
then who knows? And then it could just be a kiss, and then be like, oh, we talk way too much about this.
You must remember this.
Yeah, a kiss. Yeah. Well, pretty much everything has been mentioned already that I like, but I do love that Mount Dor just talking. Just, he won't stop talking. Like he's got, like this is kind of all his fault to begin with.
It definitely is. If you recall, he wouldn't like tell anyone what was going on. He was like keeping it a secret.
But he's like, God, I wish they had his internal monologue. God, I hope this works out. Otherwise, I'm dead.
He is the Rince Priebus of this art. 100%.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get so many angry emails.
The way Morgans looks down on him is like, I enjoyed that so much. Like, it's not like my favorite thing from this chapter, because obviously Mistoms is my favorite thing from this chapter. But the way that Big News Morgans looked down on Mount Dor was just made my day. We've sort of discussed all the Sanji and Pudding possibilities, but from my perspective on Luffy versus Katakuri is that I love this respect that they have for each other at the end of this fight. Like, as you guys were saying, it's not like Katakuri isn't the one who instigated this fight. It's not like when Luffy fought Crocodile or Luffy fights Enru or something like that, or even when he fights Lucci, because Lucci was a bad enough guy on his own, even though he was a lackey. But Katakuri, he's strong, and Luffy respects his strength, and they just go at each other. and they can part without a lot of animosity. Like Luffy, like I don't know if Luffy's ever cared about an enemy that he's defeated this much before. Like to cover up his face like that. That really touched me. I like that.
That's because most enemies are jackasses that he's fought. To be
Katakuri kind of is too, but there's something else going on there.
Well, and that comes back to a few chapters ago when Rayleigh was talking about Luffy having empathy and understanding others.
Oh yeah. He probably was able to sense the motivation behind Katakuri more than he would have in the past, and I guess kind of learning 2 lessons here.
He felt the love in his punches.
But that's about it.
I'll give my final thoughts. This was a really good chapter, and I think Oda has a talent of, when I walked into this chapter, we had a week break. It was coming, and we didn't know the end of the Katakuri Luffy fight, and so we're kind of sitting in that, what is happening next? And then
I was excited each page.
Exactly, and then we start into the Sanji stuff, and you think, normally you'd be like, okay, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to what I want to actually see. But instead, I felt torn away from this scene. I wanted to see what happened next, and I think that's something that Oda does really well, and particularly in this chapter where we skip through scenes a lot. With the Katakuri Luffy fight, I thought I like the way it ended. I think we kind of were talking in the last few weeks about how this kind of has to be a draw. And I think part of the reason it has to be a draw is because it was drawn out so much. It's been going on for at least 6 months in our real world time. Or whenever Casey was last here. So there's a lot to just unpack, I think, emotionally for these 2 characters. So it's been really interesting to see. Seeing the return of Montdor and Big News Morgans having a little clash here. Also saying "shut your beak" while standing right next to what's his name now? Formerly
Tamago.
Yeah, formerly Tamago, but his name is
Niwatori.
Niwatori now, who also has a beak. I mean, that's not cool.
But the only unfortunate thing is they didn't talk to each other.
The really only unfortunate thing is that Compote was in a panel and did nothing, and I'm very disappointed by that.
Still don't know what she does.
No one does. She has a bowl of fruit on her head. That's all you need to know. I mean, everything has been really said here, and I think Oda's just... Alex mentioned kind of just... I think one of the reasons why I really like all of the Charlotte family is that they're all radically different. You can't really make heads or tails of them, so they're all kind of have their air of mystery. And those that we do know have been... either cool or exaggerated, like caricatures of something. And then there's Flampe, but the rest of them are all pretty cool. Of course, Mistims, the Mystery Savior 3000. It's all been... This was a really good chapter. I'm really looking forward to next week. Are there any final thoughts, you guys? Casey, we want to come back around to you at the end, so have you given any thought?
I think you guys all said it very well, and listening to you, I think my feelings on the chapter are even more positive. And yes, Mistims is my mystery savior as well.
He's all of ours. Okay, why don't we go on into the next segment?
All right.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories. We have the whole crew here still with us. Ed, what time is it?
It's time for DSP.
Oh, I thought it was 1 a.m., but good. I'm glad it's not that time yet. Okay, so let's start with Dispiece. These are questions on Discord for Patreon subscribers only. First one comes from Morgul, who says maybe this is just a naval thing I don't know about, but would a clock on a ship be rather pointless if they constantly move around the world? Wouldn't they constantly have to readjust the clock to match the local time every time they arrive at a new island?
Probably.
Yeah.
Shut up. That's why.
Okay, so
it's like the log post. It sets itself.
The rule of Peter Pan tells us that you mainly have those to get eaten by like giant predatory swimming creatures, so you can hear them ticking as they approach.
True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it probably scares off crocodiles.
I would think.
Or no, it would attract crocodiles.
We got one more Dispiece question, unless you want to... Any more international time zone kind of dateline question?
No, we're
thoughts?
good.
Okay.
We'll save that for Patreon.
Straw Hat Pirate 9 said, such a good chapter this week. Perfect way to start my birthday week. Happy birthday. March 9th with Frankie. Anyways, the only thing that upset me was the way Oda left us hanging with Pudding and Sanji. All signs pointed to asking for a kiss, right? We've seen Sanji kiss Viola, so why not Pudding? Unless she asked for something else. Did love the closure of Sanji and Pudding's whole relationship, quote unquote, though. Lastly, Luffy is perfection. I love my rubber boy. It's weird coming out of my mouth, but sure. Steve, you called it easy mode?
No, well, in terms of leaving you hanging there, I call it Antissa.
Say it.
Patient.
Oh boy.
That was pretty bad. Any other?
Like it's a storytelling device. Just got to be patient.
I
don't know.
It might be a kiss, but I think it's also something else. So there you go.
Maybe she could transfer memories through her lips. I don't know.
That's a weird power. Anyway, Ed, it's time.
Also, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. It's time for emails. I don't know if you have a song for that, Ed.
Email.
Thank you, Alex.
That's a good song.
Ryan is the first emailer this week. I was looking through the Straw Hat Grand Fleet covers, and I had a question. After ending their engagement, we see Uho Lisa. Is that the translation, Stephen?
Uklisha.
Uklisha, right. Lamenting, I thought it was a little different. Lamenting the fact that she couldn't get Sai as her 26th husband. We know that Big Mom had many husbands. What if Lisa saw Big Mom as someone she admired and decided she wanted as many husbands as Big Mom? #husband club. Forgive me for the hashtag, which should also be a hashtag. Hashtag forgive me for the hashtag.
Wait, this guy hashtag an email?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I don't feel like we have to answer this question anymore.
That's like when someone posted something on my Facebook wall and used a hashtag to save a show that's been canceled. I want to be like, my Facebook profile is private.
Now, to be fair, #husband club is at the corner of the screen on every episode of Real House Husbands of Whole Cake Island. So
write that one down too. Wait, what's the hashtag for that though?
#husband club.
Husband club. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Could it be possible though? Sure. It doesn't really seem integral to the plot. So, no. Sorry. Happy birthday.
I actually like this one from Liam Tasker, but I doubt this is going to be the case, but who knows? Liam says, it looks like Pudding's request is to kiss Sanji, but do you think she actually just wants to see his other eye?
Ooh. That's
neat.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, so it's like an optical illusion. You can't see Sanji's two eyes at once.
That's really sweet, actually. Like, can I've shown you my eyes.
Especially if it's a moment that's not shared with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of wholesome thing One Piece would do.
It is kind of sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
What if Sanji's just a cyclops and the eye just moves from side to side?
See why it rejected him.
The next question comes from Just Martin. Dear One Piece Podcast, which One Piece animal would you most want as a pet?
Ooh.
Oh, easy. Banana Dial.
That seems like an awful idea.
Easy.
I want Lasso.
You mean Lasso?
Sure. The bomb dog. He's the bomb.
He's not a bomb.
But
He's a gun that ate the dog fruit that has a cold,
But I am introducing legislation to control Lasso and other omniscient dog gun things. That was good. Nailed it.
Pierre kind of seems like a good choice because you get the benefit of having a horse and a bird, and you wouldn't have to have a car anymore.
Hattori, I wouldn't have to speak anymore.
Funkfried, but Funkfried's too big.
I'm gonna go Karoo.
Oh, that's good.
Karoo's a good choice.
The real baby mode answer is Sue the Sky Fox.
Baby mode.
Oh, I forgot Sue existed.
I bet you so did Dota.
I didn't realize Sue's name was also Lunch.
The next question: was there any other pets you want?
I don't know. Who's your favorite of the Supersonics Duck-Billed Squadron?
Didn't we do?
Who's your favorite, Weber?
Name them all.
We did a trivia with that before. Right?
I like Donnie.
What about Shushu, the dog?
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's
good. That's a good one. When I first watched
that's a good dog right there.
Isn't that? Are you doing that thing with the cat? What was I gonna say? When I first read through that story, I was like, give or take about that. And then when I reread through that story, I'm like, this is the greatest One Piece story ever. Anyway,
having one of the snakes from Amazon Lily would be kind of cool. They're basically like tools and accessories.
What about is it Sarume? Which one is the?
That's
Salome, the snake.
Yeah, isn't that Boa Hancock's snake?
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's name off every one of them.
Next question from Fabio, who said he's from Brazil.
The Fabio?
Greetings from Brazil. This is mostly about the podcast. He asks if there is a place where you could find old episodes of the podcast. YouTube, anything on YouTube is $2.95 to present. SoundCloud Season 1 is available. So he was asking where the other ones are. And the answer is you have to be a Patreon subscriber to listen to Seasons 2 through 7 in their entirety. It is only $3 a month, and you could listen to all 500 plus episodes of the One Piece podcast. It's a big deal. It's a good deal. It's big news.
There's also our One Piece read through, which is a summary of the series,
and that is free for all. And yeah, please enjoy that.
There's that too.
Yeah. Any other?
That's actually how I caught up with the show. I listened to the One Piece read through.
Oh,
it's a good way to do it.
It's a good way to do it.
We have a question from Matt, who said, "I wanted to share my headcanon about devil fruits like the which one's the bis fruit? I don't even remember what that
biscuits.
The biscuit fruit. What a stupid name for that. And the mochi.
now you're on board. Now you're on board with old Steve, Zach. It's too late.
The fuck is a me?
Way back when Katakuri's power was first revealed, you guys seemed a bit surprised that there would be a devil fruit that lets you create or become a man-made product. I personally assume that in the One Piece world, the devil fruits actually came first and inspired people to make the foods they are named after. In other words, the mochi fruit does not create a man-made food. Instead, it creates a substance that would later be made into a food substance. That is confusing. Maybe the devil fruits are man-made. Let's just go really deep into this.
Yeah, like the jacket fruit.
Yeah, I mean, like what eternal being would make the jacket fruit?
Or the door fruit?
Hey, door fruit's kind of cool, when you think about it. Like, hey, maybe you don't need that 2-bedroom apartment. You could get a studio. You just have storage space in that green goopy zone.
Actually, Oda is the answer to the eternal being.
The green goopy zone.
The jacket fruit would be in better hands of a selfless person. It'd be like, oh, hey, are you cold? Here, wear me. And they're like, no, thank you. I'd rather freeze.
Ugh, gross.
Any other thoughts on that? Otherwise, Steven, we can move on to Reddit.
Okay, I guess we'll try to keep this a little on the shorter side. So I'll just pick a few questions out since we do have a bunch. Let's see. I'll go with Pepsi Shake, who says, any thoughts on where the Luffy versus Big Mom future fight might happen? I've heard Elbaf. I know going back to Fisherman Island. Whoa. Fisherman Island wouldn't be fun for the majority of readers, but there's always that chance since Shirahoshi is an ancient weapon. She will eventually come back into the story, but not necessarily on Fisherman Island. My brain just wanders there because of the below statements. 1, Madame Charlie predicting a man in a straw hat will destroy Fishman Island. 2, Luffy confirming in the latest chapter that one day he will come back to fight Big Mom. And 3, Big Mom pirates already have some hatred towards Fisherman Island due to the Candy incident and Jinbei's crew leaving the Alliance, plus the Straw Hats being involved with both events. I can just see Big Mom pirates taking it out over frustration, and maybe the race relation themes of both Fisherman Island and Whole Cake might draw them together for some type of conclusion, with Luffy coming back to finally destroy it all. I don't know. How likely do you think that is?
You know, the more I think about it, the more Big Mom is kind of like, you know, the white people in Get Out. Where it's just like, make everyone like me. Everyone has to be, you know, taking people's bodies and stuff. But it's not the real equality.
Yeah. I don't see it just kind of in a blanket sense, just because I don't think Oda will ever kind of go back for a full look at a previous location more than just like a quick cameo here and there. Mm-hmm. But I do think that I do think that it's true that you know Shirahoshi will come back to play in some sense.
Right. And the Joy Boy tie-in, because he was involved with that giant ship that was down there in the first place, Noah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see that being like the centerpiece for another arc. He'll find some other way to address those story strands. Let's see. CJ to Elf wants to talk about the fight. Now that it's over, would you say that Luffy's real strength isn't necessarily the power behind his attacks, but rather his toughness or endurance? I'd say he took significantly more damage than Katakuri over the course of the fight, but no matter what, he wouldn't stay down. Both Luffy's armament and observation haki are still below Katakuri's from what we saw, in my opinion. Yet in the end, his final attack was able to end the fight even after receiving plenty of damage in both base and Snake Man forms. Overall, I'd say Luffy's physical power is still below Katakuri's and maybe other commanders as well, but his massive stamina makes up for it in a battle like a MOBA tank. Thoughts?
And his mental strength, really. I mean, that's our Luffy from the beginning. That's always been Luffy. He's always had stronger will than the people he was fighting.
He's got a strong heart.
Yeah,
it's really his defining characteristic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gentleman Bastard Zero says the real question is who's more hungry right now, Luffy or Big Mom?
Oh, Big Mom.
Big Mom.
She lost weight. Like Luffy just lost his his control of speaking coherently.
But what if Luffy takes her down by beating her in a hot dog eating contest?
Kobayashi.
Yeah, where's Charlotte Kobayashi? Master of hot dogs.
I could hear Zach typing this down.
He's gonna smell like hot dogs.
I'm writing it down right now.
All right. Let's see. Prince of Assassins says, this seems like one of the most polarizing ends to a fight I can remember, with a ton of people thinking Oda didn't portray Luffy's victory as realistic, with Katakuri looking superior for most of the fight before the Snake Man chapter. Lots of comparisons to Fairy Tail, and some guy called it making less sense than Pell being alive. Wow.
What?
No.
I think people
mistaken.
I think people are underrating how much damage Luffy can take, and that Katakuri was also exhausted himself by constantly attacking for hours while using Future Sight haki and armament haki at the same time. A good comment on the OP Reddit was that it was akin to the George Foreman Ali fight, where Foreman landed a ton of the hits, but was tired enough after the occasional Ali punches that in a later round, Ali, while worn out, was able to get more hits and knocked him out with one strong blow. That's how I see Luffy's fight. What do you think? Did Oda handle this fight all right, and what grade would you guys give it?
Yeah, it's actually something where I really appreciated the sort of the in-fight tactics, like especially at the end of the fight, where they were going back and forth with the seeing into the future and exploring the depths of their powers. So on the physical and sort of combat tactics aspect of it, it was really, really entertaining, just from sort of a technical aspect. But it didn't have the emotion sort of behind it that other fights do, and we sort of discussed the reasons behind that already in the manga recap. And but Katakuri is an extremely conflicted character, and I think he's got more depth than people give him credit for, especially the people who think that this was a bad ending to this fight.
All right.
This was good. I think I just want to give it some time, but I mean, I liked it. It could go down as like one of the best One Piece fights. I think, fights like versus Crocodile and Lucci, like the whole rest of the, well, I caught myself in saying that because I'd say that arc, everything was riding on Luffy winning, but then again, this arc is dependent on, of course, Luffy winning. So I think I'll just retract that statement. But I don't know. I think I need some time, and it needs a good anime adaptation.
So I have a few things about this fight. First is that somebody brought this up earlier about the ticking clock and how that worked in this chapter. So I actually like that the clock advanced at a reasonable pace compared to most shonen manga, and that we got like 30 minutes within the span of the pages in this chapter. So there was quite a bit of the fight that we don't see. Also, I think one of the big things is that the final blow in this didn't quite feel as impactful as some of the other final blows in One Piece tend to. But those tend to be battles where Luffy really hates somebody. So you get those like obliteration punches, whereas this was more of a battle of attrition. The final blow being more or less the aftermath and withdrawing from the aftermath rather than just getting that like up close shot of someone's face just being erased by a punch. It makes a difference. But overall, I like this fight.
Next question, Steven? Yeah.
Okay. Let's just I'll close this out on Reddit. We'll pick a silly one. Usopp in a duffel bag says, Hey guys, if the major members of the Charlotte family were from different states in America, which ones would they be from? So I guess we could all pick a sibling.
Montdor is a carny, so he doesn't live anywhere.
Florida.
He smells like cabbage.
He went to Clown College.
Oh my God. The whole Charlotte family is a bunch of carnies.
They are.
Wow.
Let's see. I think Oven is from Arizona.
I've been there. I can attest.
Yeah.
Is this the question of saying where they're from?
That would explain his the voice Steve gave him. I don't know why. It just it seems to fit Arizona pretty well.
Hi, we're from Arizona. We really have nothing distinct about us. We're all transplants. We all come from different places. I mean,
Exactly.
we wanted to live in a desert, but I do. I'm Oven. Hello.
Obama?
It's hot.
Barack Oven Obama?
Zach's writing that down. I can hear it.
No, I'm not.
I don't know. Maybe Smoothie's from like Portland or something. She's very crunchy.
Are we just talking about within the United States?
Yeah, that's what he said. States.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, she looks like she goes hiking.
Um,
The smoothies. It's very health food.
Yeah, but they're smooth. They're not crunchy. I'm sorry.
I could see who's the one with the fruit hat?
Compote.
Compote.
I could see her being from like San Diego.
Pudding is absolutely California.
Right.
Yeah. Or flambe, also from California. But a different part of California.
Let's see. Katakuri. Maybe one of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Let's see. Genie Weenie Daifuku. He is from New Mexico because, as we know, it is the land of enchantment.
Love it.
Well done. Is there who's the minister of cheese?
Oh, that would be
It's
That's
Montour.
Mondor.
Oh,
Is
so
that Montour?
Wisconsin then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Montour will not apologize for his cheese.
That's Vermont.
Damn it. Every time I think Ed catches me on that for mistaking Vermont.
I love that movie, and William H. Macy is so good in that role.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
Man, there's so many other kids. I don't know. What state has the highest birth rate? Because that could be the quintuplets or whatever they're named.
Arkansas,
Mississippi?
That's the Duggars live, right?
I don't know.
Quit it. Sorry, I just
Okay.
imagined
Ed, it's time
Big Mom
to
on a hammock. On those kids.
Peace the tree.
If you're wondering whether Steve could talk right through a piece of the tweet, the answer to that is yes.
That's right.
What do we have this week?
I think that was a delay.
Brule is Nevada.
So I'm going to take a couple of weird questions this week as well. From John Gargia, who says, could Zoro use Four Sword style if he got a butt plug blade?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think
SPR.
you can make it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has pretty tight glutes. He works out a lot. Squats, man.
He
He's definitely
kegels.
doing squats. So.
I thought we were
All
trying
right.
to be somewhat PG here, but okay, I guess not. Go
I
for
don't
it.
think the youth know what the kegels are.
Look, Oda would
That's
answer
not the
that in
part I
SBS.
was. He
Good
would
enough.
answer that. Yes.
All right, next one coming from Dr. Simadoku, who says, "Do you guys think that Luffy covering up Katakuri's mouth with his mafia hat undoes the meaning of Katakuri's actions when he removed his scar and was no longer embarrassed to face Luffy in all his glory? And did you guys find the ending anticlimactic?" Okay, we've already sort of discussed that, but
Well-
I was curious about the significance of the hat in particular.
Well, I think he was only he was only unembarrassed about it in front of Luffy because he considers Luffy an equal.
Right.
So if someone else is going to find them, then Luffy has hid his shame.
Yep.
That sounds about right. Next one comes from Sniper of My Heart, who says, "How did Peckhams get into the mirror world? Last time we saw him, here we go. Last time we saw him was on Whole Cake Island in chapter 884. All Peckhams did was save Luffy the trouble of finding where he dropped off Brule."
Well, he also
Mm.
made the most amazing reappearance ever
That's
in
true.
the series. I mean, without any question, cannot be debated at all. But yeah, it makes no sense.
We're not going to break kayfabe here, brother.
All right. Next one comes from Sabaudi Ark, who says, "Do you think that mysterious character Mistoms will transform into a Sulong? He looks like a mink to me."
I guess it's possible the moon is still out. It's 1 a.m. That would
Like,
be
is
Glasses
that like-
might-
When they erupt,
Negate
when they escape from the mirror, like that could happen. Because like obviously it's not going to happen while he's in the mirror world. 'cause
I
you
mean,
can't
that
see
would
the
be
moon.
some entrance. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say.
And he's a lion mink too. So.
Yeah, I feel
that would
like, and he also has a turtle power, so I don't know how that would all equate, but that would be really cool. I would very much endorse that.
Cowabunga.
Under the light of the full moon, he becomes Dave Batista.
And I apologize for not getting into all the Katakuri questions, but I feel like we've really discussed that quite a bit so far this episode. So I want to continue on to Yin Tab F, who says, "When do you think the return to Whole Cake Island arc will happen before or after they get to Raftel?" Oh boy. Well, I feel like I need to quote Katakuri here. You're looking way too far into the future.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't foresee them ever coming back to Whole Cake Island so much as I foresee parts of Whole Cake Island coming to them.
Yes.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how much those islands really are, stuck in place.
No, I think he means the people from the
Well,
islands.
that too,
Not literally the islands. Although,
I mean, who knows? Big Mom might have a way of moving that.
let's not think about that too much.
All right, next one comes from, I'm going to read the display name here. It says, Bisoromi Lofulamingo.
Nice.
Combine two of the best translated names that you could have.
If you guys were characters in the One Piece verse? Oh, One Piece verse, I see. How would you like to be introduced into the story or meet the Straw Hats? Like as a farting bottom half or falling 30,000 feet out of a cloud? And what would be inside your Oda box? Zach, funny Logan?
I mean, that's clear that would be my, nickname.
Yeah, what do you guys think? How would you make a flashy entrance into the One Piece world?
I'm the complete opposite of that.
Jazz hands. Just walk there and you do jazz hands.
Steve Jazz Hands Yurko. Bounty, 2 berries.
Damn.
Could
I'm gonna be the guy in Jaya who's pissing off the end of the dock.
Hey, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Jailbreaking from Impel Down 5.5.
There you go.
I don't know. I kind of like to be Koza's uncle who runs the hot springs. That seems like an easy gig.
I think it'd be really fun to just be in a restaurant and my mouth would be full and you couldn't understand a thing that I would say, and my Oda box would also sound like the mouth was full.
Anyone else?
I just wonder if I was a One Piece character, would I just be a normal, like an average height character, or would I be like one of the tall characters like Doflamingo and Katakuri? That's what I'm curious about. Does 6'4" qualify?
All right, next one comes from QuipQuest, who says, if Jinbei is a fishman, does that make him the Straw Hat's second emergency food supply?
Yeah, probably tastes a lot better than
Yeah.
Chopper. I mean, I now could say I've eaten reindeer before. It's okay.
Have you eaten whale shark?
No, I haven't eaten whale shark, but I imagine it tastes better than reindeer.
Mhm.
And by the
Right.
way, eating reindeer happened after riding on a reindeer. They just fed it to you after. It's bizarre.
Sorry, you went to Norway.
Yeah, it's It's not even like you get, oh, here's the food you're gonna have. I know you're starving, but you have to eat the cute thing you just rode in on. Not literally, but essentially.
All right, a couple more questions here. From our very own Brian Newton, Dark King Zoro on Twitter, who says, "My money is on editing Sanji's good memories of her. She recognized his love for his crew and, in parentheses, Nami." That's there. And that's what Brian thinks. I'll just move on to the last one here from our very own Chow, who's actually there is one here from 91 Ryan that I wanted to ask as well. If you could count the number of Oda boxes from chapter 1 all the way to 896, how many Oda boxes would there be?
At least 896.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be around 896 because there's a bunch of chapters where there's none, but there can be like 5 or 6 or
There
a
were like
bunch.
30 in like the one with the dectuplets. So, and also,
also,
every
like,
time
the
there's a
four-
time or a new place, I think it's probably at least double that.
We can also go like an entire volume without having an Oda box, I think. Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. It's someone count that and let us know. And
Well, if you're doing
please
like
don't.
character introductions, it wouldn't be as many. But if it's like time and place, then there's definitely a lot more.
Well, I will tell you, give you a little preview for volume 88 SBS that someone counted the number of SBS questions there have been. So, just give it a few more volumes and I'm sure someone will submit that info.
Didn't someone
And-
count the amount of dooms?
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
that was what we were talking about like last month.
And
I
that's
think.
way, way worse than counting Oda boxes. I feel like those stick out at least a lot more. I guess they both do, but anyway, Ed.
Last one comes from our very own Chow. It says, "Speaking of Cacao Island, do you guys prefer white chocolate or dark chocolate?" Well, dark chocolate
Milk
is the only
chocolate.
one dark chocolate is the only one you've listed that's chocolate, so I'll have to go with dark chocolate.
I learned actually
What
white chocolate has a
exactly-
small amount of a very tiny amount of chocolate in
It
it.
doesn't have cocoa solids in it. It has
It can, well, it depends if are you talking Hershey's white chocolate or like real
Well,
white chocolate?
No Hershey's has real chocolate in it anyway.
Fair.
And they have that
What-
creepy creepy mascot character from Hershey
Oh
Park.
yeah, that was. Wait, so that's how long ago Whole Cake Island started? Because I went to Hershey Park when the first chapter came out. I remember. Where was I?
To find,
That was a long
I
time
don't know.
ago.
It doesn't matter.
Pennsylvania. You're in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Well, I mean that I know.
What makes up the majority of white chocolate?
Sugar and milk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not like regular chocolate, with just no sugar or milk in it.
I will say this though, I used to hate dark chocolate, but now I'm old and boring and bitter, and I do like dark chocolate.
I
it's
hate
numbed
dark
your
chocolate.
taste buds enough to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I had like just
Now
the,
I enjoy liquor and going to bed at 9 p.m.
I do enjoy both of those things. But have you ever had like an actual cocoa bean? It's disgusting. It's Anyway, yeah.
And
Let's try
It's
the
not all
broccoli.
I'd rather eat broccoli any day than a cocoa bean if you've had it. Anyway, that'll do it for Piece Together. Why don't we round off and do a little bit of trivia?
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 509 for March 5th, 2018. Good show today, you guys. Manga recap, maybe anime recaps. Who knows what we did? I want to thank you all for coming on today. Alex, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @dude!, all one word. It's fun. Also, listen to Toho Yaro, a podcast that I do with Joey Weiser, who comes on this show occasionally, and Scott Dryman, who has never come on this show. And it's our Japanese Film Club podcast. We just released 2 episodes in a row, Blade of the Immortal and Battle Royale. So check those out at tohoyaro or onepiecepodcast.com. And
That was a confusing
follow
URL you just said.
yeah, I know. Just follow us on Twitter or Google us. It's easy. Also, there's this really sweet Twitter feed that I've been following. It's really awesome. I have no idea who runs it, but they're probably a really cool person. Weeb Simpsons is really fun if you like The Simpsons and anime like we do. So check that Twitter account out if you wanna.
And games and some toku as well.
That's right. Oh yeah. Big Super Art Fight news. Go to superartfight.com. We just updated our website, and Tuesday, March 6th, we will be launching a Kickstarter for our new board game.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Wheel of Death included?
I don't think it is, no.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, you know.
But it is still a copy of our home game, which is going to be fun.
Cool.
You could always include the wheel.
Hold on. Is this the only reason you're doing the card is so you can give people a copy of the home version?
No, but that'd be a really sweet. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Casey.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Manovsky Article, and traditionally I've given manga suggestions. So I've really been combing the digital archives of the official Shonen Jump app and checking out other series other than One Piece. And lately I've really gotten into Dr. Stone, which is a fantastic, really strange series about with like it actually has a science advisor on it, and it's about a world where almost all of humanity is turned to stone. The time accelerates thousands of years into the future, and we're essentially back in the Stone Age, except for a few modern people who remember and are trying to rebuild modern society from scraps. And it's a very fun series. And the only arbitrary Shonen Jump battle numbers in this is that the main character is absurdly good at mental math. So very unique series. With that, Promise Neverland and Kimetsu no Yaiba, all three of those are getting physical editions this year if you don't subscribe to Jump. But if you do, then at least try to read Promise Neverland and Dr. Stone. I think they're two of the best things in the magazine right now.
Steven, where can we find you?
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at Translatosaurus. And I guess just look forward. I believe, Volume 85 just came out in English. And the next time we get a break, you can look forward to me bringing you either Volume 88 or Color Walk 8 Wolf. One of the two, most likely. We'll get to the next one after that.
Steve.
Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr. It's Steve Yurko, all one word. I'm done with conventions for the time being, but I would like to thank all those that stopped by and visited me at both conventions, and especially podcast fans. I know you listen to the show when you give me a box of Samoas because you remember me defending Samoas on said podcast. So
I don't even remember that, and I'm on this podcast.
So thank you to Joshua Pong for that one. But no more conventions. So just follow me online.
Or if you see a 6'4" guy in LA that looks suspiciously like Steve.
Oh
please.
my God. Let me tell this story real quick. I'm sorry to take up so much time. I did meet a fan at a non-anime event.
Wow.
When I was in New York.
Oh yeah.
This is shortly after I had dinner with Zach.
I left at the wrong time.
I went to a wrestling-themed comedy show that my friend was performing in New York a couple weeks ago. And I was talking with another friend before when we were waiting to get in, and one of the performers who was waiting outside walked up to me. It's like, "Hi, are you Steve Yurko?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, okay, wrestling probably. It's like, you must follow me on Instagram. I listened to the One Piece podcast. I was like, damn, really? He was super nice. Damn it, forget your name, man. I'm so sorry. But it's okay. You had me on Facebook, so I'll remember that. But that was really odd for someone to be a One Piece podcast fan and catch me in the wilds at a non-anime related event. So
that's pretty awesome. That happened to me twice with people I had already met. That
it doesn't count.
No, I know it doesn't count. Okay, Ed, where could the good people out there contact us?
Well, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter, and I am Edward E. One Piece. And I just wanted to mention something that I've been enjoying on Twitter lately. Twitter user Grant the Thief from the Blade Licking Thieves podcast is reading One Piece, basically one chapter per day from the beginning. He's in the Baratier arc now, and that's something that I enjoy every day, seeing his favorite panel and also one tweet thought on the chapter.
Yeah,
so
we don't know
excited.
Anyone here who has done that before, so that seems like it could be interesting. Yes.
I will say when Grant first started this process, I did post very early in his thread the picture of Shanks putting the straw hat on Luffy's head.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's
Perfect.
He gets the
Perfect.
christening.
But yeah, so check out that hashtag OP Grant. So, but as for the podcast, you can find it at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. Reddit.com/r/OnePiecePodcast to leave us some piece together. Please support us at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Call us on our phone number, Zach.
That phone number is 347-497 Maji?
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your
Anytime!
with your questions, your comments, your steamed Luffy's.
Big news.
Your big news. Your 2 scoops of Morgans. We had 13 episode titles I wrote down for this episode. So I would suggest if you don't, subscribe on Patreon this week because you will get to hear all 13 that I wrote down. That's at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast for the $10 plus tier. That'll probably be out in the next few weeks, so you could hear all of those. But before we go, it's time for our last segment, Trivia. Here we go. So, this week, Volume 88 came out. Volume 88 has the auspicious... well, first off, Casey, you haven't been here for trivia, so I should explain how this works. So I will ask you guys to either name characters or items or something in a category. You guys will go back and forth. If you repeat the same one or can't think of one or say one that is incorrect, you will be out. Last one standing wins a free donut. They have to keep track of how many donuts I owe them because I am not.
3, Zach.
Have you been keeping track?
Yeah.
Okay, honor system here. I owe Steve 3 donuts of his choice. So, this week, to commemorate Volume 88, which had the auspicious honor of being the first volume in the Whole Cake Island covers that did not feature any new characters in it. So we're going to go through every character that has appeared on a cover during the Whole Cake Island arc from Volume 82 through 87. So all you have to do is name a character that has been on a cover. Please do not cheat. I know you probably have those covers handy. Don't do that.
They're all the way over on the shelf. That's too far.
It's too far to cheat.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them staring at me in the face, but they're spines, so they don't count.
Yeah, that's probably going to be fine. Today's order is going to be Steven, Alex, Casey, Ed, and Steve. Give you an idea, I think there's around 25 or 30 of these. Maybe a little less.
All right.
But all you have to do is name one. Okay, here we go. Steven.
Luffy.
Yeah. Alex.
Parasparrow.
Yes. Casey.
Big Mom.
Yes. Ed.
Hatakuri.
Yeah, he doesn't appear until 87. Steve.
Sanji.
Yeah, he doesn't appear until 84. Steven.
Carrot.
Yep. Alex.
Jinbei.
In 85, yeah. Casey.
Brooke.
Where is he? I know he's here. Here he is. Ed.
Judge.
My name is Judge. Steve.
Nami.
Steven.
Reiju.
Alex.
Chopper.
Casey.
He comes.
Ed.
Ichiji.
I can't wait until Mysteriums comes up. Steve.
Yonji.
Here we go. Steven.
Niji.
That's all of them, I believe. Alex.
Chiffon.
Casey.
Prometheus.
Yeah. Where are we? Ed.
Napoleon.
Yeah, here he is.
He's
showed
definitely,
up,
definitely on her head.
He showed up
Yeah.
way earlier than the other 2. That's why I was
He's the
looking.
hat, Zach.
I have this chronologically. Steve.
Zeus.
Steven.
Pedro.
Yep. Alex.
Oven.
You guys are doing very well this time.
This is practically just name a character.
I'm trying.
No, there's
Chiffon
some
fits
weird
that.
ones here. You just haven't gotten to them yet. Casey.
Was Chiffon said?
Chiffon was said. Unless.
Ah,
yeah, no, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
that's
out.
it. Ed.
Brulee.
Brulee. Yes. Steve.
Cracker.
Yes. Steven.
Capone.
Capone is a yes. I'm just trying to find where the hell I put
I just didn't know if someone had said it yet.
Well, someone said
Yeah, that was the problem I had too.
Yeah, that's part of the game though. Is trying to remember what everyone said.
Wait, was Capone said?
No.
I don't
No.
think so.
Beige. I had him down as beige for some reason. Is Alex back?
Daifuku.
Daifuku. Yes. God, you guys are doing a little too well. Ed.
Pez.
Yep. Steve.
Oh shit.
Gotti.
Yep. Steven.
Vito.
Yep. Alex. Alex, you there?
He had to get the door, I think.
Get in the door.
All right. Ed.
Diesel.
Diesel? No, Diesel.
No.
Ooh.
No,
I thought he
Diesel was
appeared
not
on the. I thought he appeared on the cover with Brulee.
According to One Piece Wiki, the
right.
number one source in correct answers. Steve.
Caesar.
Alex, are you back?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you a chance here. You didn't hear what other people said, so
Nope. Compote.
Yeah, good. You still are kind of at a disadvantage from not hearing that. Steven, did you go? I'm all out of
Panda Man.
Oh, that is just,
It's accurate.
Steven wants out.
okay, no, I'll give it to you.
That was the ace up my sleeve.
Yeah,
there.
okay, I'll give it to you, but no. But I'll give it to you. Alex.
Bobbin?
No, I don't think. No, I don't have Bobbin here.
No? He's not on the
I don't have him here.
87 cover?
I don't have him here. Steve.
Oh, fuck.
Praline.
Yes. Steven. It's just Steven and Steve now.
Did anyone say pudding?
Yeah, way back.
Yeah,
at the
that
beginning.
was way back.
All right, I'm
So
out
that's
then.
going to be it. Well, Steve, you have to get this right to stay in the game.
And I'm going to go with my wild card.
Oh,
answer.
actually-
Vivi.
No one. Oh, did I have putting down twice? I'm just
Zach.
like- you said Vivi? Yeah, you got it,
You
Steve.
cut me off.
You got it, Steve.
I wanted to wow people
Congratulations.
with remembering that Vivi was on the Volume 82 cover.
Not
And
named.
It's like Zach just pulled like a 2017 Oscars. And then, oh, wait a second.
Congratulations, Steve. You now get 4 donuts.
Four-time champion.
Not named. Oprah, Mont d'Or.
Oprah.
Opera.
You get a cover. And you get a cover.
Let Oprah!
I wish. Opera, Mont d'Or, Galette, and Tamago.
Those are the only three.
Those are the only ones you guys missed. You did really well.
Damn. And I wasn't sure if Montour got name dropped.
I
so.
did not cross out Pudding, so I don't know if anyone did get her. Who said that? That was Steven, wasn't it?
Me. No.
So Steven might, have grounds to appeal. I'll give Steven half a donut in addition to the many donuts I owe him at this point. Anyway, that's going to do it for the One Piece podcast this week. If you haven't, please check out our Whole Cake Island recap that we did last week. Next week, we'll be back with an all-new manga recap, anime recap, maybe, and more. So that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next week. My name is Zach.
My name's Ed.
My name is Steve.
And Alex has left. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Alex.
Good night.